All right. Welcome, everybody. It's Thursdays at 2. We're back. It's
Nice. So
fun.
good to see you.
Yes. Wonderful to see you. Wonderful to see y'all out there. Ah, yes.
Celebrate another week of down statistics. Uh,
Down, down, down. Yeah.
all the orgs are empty the way they're supposed to be.
Still empty.
I
I
love it.
checked. I checked up on one yesterday, and it
I
looked.
saw that. That was very exciting. And I like that pink chalk you got, that hot pink chalk.
Yeah, yeah.
That reads.
That definitely reads. It's the magenta color in that box. That is prize chalk. If you could get a whole box of just that color, the pigment stays longer as well, and it's very heavy, so it kind of really mushes into the sidewalk as well.
Is
So
it too hot for you to be playing your fiddle out there? Because I noticed you didn't bring your guitar.
yeah, I haven't been bringing the guitar, so I've been trying to work out. Well, now it's down to two different insurance claims.
Oh, God.
So the car ones have been sorted. The business end of them has been sorted. And now it's just down to the possessions. And I don't think I think I'm gonna have to go through my friends because the guitar that I lost was a loaner
Oh,
and from a friend of mine in Colorado. I'm gonna have to replace her guitar with something specific. And then I mean I have Leslie's guitar that I use for practice here, but it's not. It's a little delicate for out there, so I'm looking to get like an electroacoustic that is relatively inexpensive that I can just knock around.
I
This
miss
is
your
one.
songs that have no beginning or end, that just keep on cruising.
Yeah, just stream of consciousness. It really helps get the stress off too. So yeah, I think yeah, the guitar aspect of it kept me out there and kept it kind of happy. And
It just
so
seemed like you were in a good mood, which is hard to do when you're around such nastiness, but it like somehow made you just sort of above the fray. Uh,
indeed.
it just like and it's really fun to listen to, especially if you're like doing something around the house, you know what I mean? And because once in a while you'll hit like a really good verse,
Yeah.
and then I'll be like, "Ooh, he's onto something now," and then it'll get interrupted because some FSIO will come out or whatever. But like, and sometimes the words will just be funny because you're just going with whatever came up, but it actually works.
Every once in a while, yeah, those ducks get in a row. But yeah, if you keep on throwing spaghetti against the wall, a couple of those things might stick.
But you have a really wide variety of music too, where like I have growing up, like a lot of my friends, I think I was telling you that made their literally paid their bills with music.
Yeah.
Um, like I had friends that would like a week would be playing Toto and Journey on Tuesday,
Yep.
Zydeco Band on Wednesday, Ozzy tribute on Thursday. It's like
Yeah.
jazz on Saturday, which not only is going to make you a great musician, obviously, if you're playing all that stuff, but with all of those styles available to you, it must make it much less daunting to then join the next band who
Yeah.
your friend hurt his shoulder and he's like, "Hey man, we need you for Friday for the Black Sabbath tribute," and you're like, "Okay."
Right.
See you
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Like not just being a jazzer so that
Right.
you could actually do the rock feel. Because there are people that just play jazz their whole lives, especially just play jazz drums, and they cannot sound like rock and roll.
Yeah.
Um, and it would take some years just because they haven't tried, not that they can't it's because they haven't. So I think one of the things that I tried to do was have some bit be competent in enough style so that basically anybody said, hey, I've got this gig, I could say, yeah, I can do that
Let's
gig.
go.
I did go to college for it, so that helped. They learned me up at Berkeley about all the different styles of music, and I was
Do you
already
have like
interested.
cassettes or something or CDs or something that you just haven't shared with anybody?
Oh well, I mean, I've been somewhat reluctant to cross over my already published stuff into the protest world because I'm not sure if those artists and those acts would appreciate being associated with a protest movement.
Did
So
not think of that.
yeah, and I mean, all I think any performer joining a movement like this is doing so at some amount of personal risk for getting gigs in the future,
That's a
because
really good point.
there are a number of outfits that just don't want the bother of dealing with any political, any protest, anything to be associated with their brand of having a good time in a club. So it's just noise in the signal of them trying to be straight entertainers if people are trying to do that. So so I've tried to have some amount of distance. I mean, it's not completely opaque.
But I remember you touched on that a few months ago somehow. But I remember you saying that, and I thought even then it was a great point. But then I never thought about it again. But
Yeah.
yeah, that actually sort of gave me the goosebumps because that's yeah, I never thought of that. Like I guess it's
It,
the same thing when people join political stuff. You know, it's like
yeah.
the second you step out there, a whole bunch of people are not happy.
Half of them in this country. Yeah. I mean,
That sucks.
whichever side you go for. And so a lot of entertainers tried to just ride the line and not announce one way or the other. As some people are more political, but generally, I think your publicist is going to say, "Don't say anything about that stuff."
I remember James Hetfield went into a tirade at the Rose Bowl a few years ago, um, and it was about politics. And he said, we don't get in that crap. You know, there's no way I'm going to allow half of you to think I'm a dick because of whatever. And then now you don't like my music, or now you're not going to listen. He's like, this has nothing to do with any of that. You can be anything and like our music. And that made perfect sense to me. But if I can imagine how important that point is to make if you're already one of the wealthiest people, musicians on the planet.
And he could be honest about it, that his real honest effort is to be entertainment for anybody
Yeah,
and to be accepting of anybody that comes into that arena. And that's a real thing. And I mean, I don't disrespect any artist for cultivating whatever experience or audience that they want. That's part of the game, and it's just, yeah, taking a stance for anything, for getting hired for anything. I think any kind of protest movement might become somewhat problematic.
I guess I never thought of that because like I'm already screwed, so it doesn't really matter. like Scientology already screwed me, so I don't care
Yeah,
now who's cool or doesn't or is not cool with it. Like I
yeah,
don't care.
and I think a lot of the never ends on the street are um have a particular not giving a damn attitude about those kinds of things and just throwing caution to the wind and doing the right thing. Uh, Damn the consequences. Um, that's how basically one of one of the barriers that I ever had to personally go through getting out on the street for anything is looking at the possible risks and just saying fuck it. The uh, the the cause is more important than the physical risk, or being out there in a big march with the cops out there in a line or anything like that. Um, and
And you could also start in like I could imagine you could start in a small movement thinking it's all good, and next thing you know it blows up, and you maybe didn't even plan on it getting back to certain people that it would then
oh yeah,
get back to.
yeah, right,
You
yeah,
know,
certainly. Yeah, and I mean anybody that I don't know knows me from before and comes across this YouTube page, though. I mean, I'm not wearing a disguise, so
yeah.
and I don't honestly, I don't really care. Like, yeah, it's a calculated risk, and yeah, I'm going to have to put up some kind of a barrier between, me and some of the creative projects that I'm involved with. But it's well worth all of it. And I've found so much good and so much community, made a great number of friends involved creatively with a few people now. Yeah, the trade off is so well worth it, and the work itself beyond that is uh, one of the most meaningful things that I've done with my time.
That's cool.
I think so. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm hoping for the weather to cool down so I can get back out there. I realize anything. I mean, I had a headache for 3 weeks, so
Oh
that,
man.
that being out there, because even if it says it's 95 on the street, it's 105 at
Yep.
least, at
Yep.
least. And an hour and a half of that, it's just too much for my old ass. So I can power through much further than I should, which is not good.
Yeah.
I can be wrecked and I can keep going, so that's not good.
Yeah. I'm the
You know?
same way, and I got that impression that yeah, you could just soldier through until broken, and then realize that you might be broken in certain ways.
And it was definitely making it really difficult because I was sort of falling into a little trap where mentally I thought it was a good idea. Like I would have a better chance inspiring somebody by going out in 105. Because then, what's your excuse? If this fat bastard can do it, you know, what's
Wow.
your excuse? And so I thought people would be
Yeah.
even more in, like it would work to my advantage. But all it did was really, I mean, maybe it did inspire people, but it just killed me. So I'm gonna wait till it's.
Yeah. I mean, it inspired me. Watching you go out and do that had me start flyering, had me really trying to get over whatever I needed to process so that I could go back out on the street and protest again.
Well, it was fun
Uh,
seeing you out there yesterday.
you definitely inspired me to do that. So
I will. I
thanks for
think.
that.
I
And
think
I think you
Tuesday and
inspired a
Wednesday.
bunch of other people too.
Oh, thank you.
Oh
Tuesday and
man.
Wednesday it's going to be like 86 or something. So I'll go out then.
Perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But this 95, 100 stuff, I can't do it.
Most human beings can't. So, it's not your old ass. I mean, it's a general warning when the index is above 105, it's gonna take its toll. And yeah, no, you were in the hottest days for extended periods of time out there at the hottest parts of the day. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it was definitely an example to all of us.
So that's and then I don't know if you saw the final stat that Bianca went from 522 subscribers to 600. So I want to thank everybody who came to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I'm so excited for her and so proud of that. That was a really amazing afternoon, and uh, to see the comments that she got, um, and that's like I said, it's the most powerful. 30 of that 35 minutes is the most powerful thing I've ever seen. So
Yeah, I hadn't heard of her yet, and so thank you for doing that. I subbed and am interested to catch up.
you
Uh,
will love it. But
yeah,
make sure you got some Kleenex, man. It is a tough one. But what I loved about it was it shows how Scientology is probably the most effective place that's ever been devised to ruin you without ever laying a finger.
yeah. Convince you to ruin yourself.
It's incredible. The,
Convince you
the,
that that's the best thing for everybody if you limit your thinking and whittle your spirit down to a little nub.
they get you mentally where you're not even going to save yourself.
No, so that you're conditioned to accept abuse as part of what we all need to do to make this world better. And for seemingly, there's no age where they won't start conditioning you for this kind
And
of
for some
abuse.
people like myself, um, there's a lot of uh, trauma in trying to avoid adopting that what they call valence, where you like I never wanted to be a dick to anybody.
Right.
I hate people who scream at people. I can't stand it. Maybe it's because I grew up in it.
Yeah.
But like if you can't figure out a better way to communicate than to be screaming at someone and calling them names, I'm talking about people in person, right?
Yep.
It's like that's the worst of people to me. And I never wanted to be like that. But yet I realized if you wanted to get anywhere in that hierarchy, you would have to demonstrate quite honestly, many times you would have to demonstrate your willingness to be a shithead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah. You're swimming with sharks, and maybe, best, to survive swimming with sharks by being a shark and maybe biting some other sharks. But
So it's
yeah.
not just the abuse that way. Like it's like I want people to know that they're training you to not only be willing to accept that, but to also deliver that.
Well, it's like
And
being beat into a gang. Geez. They
yeah,
do it nice and slow, I guess. So maybe you don't notice at first.
yeah, you just sort of see how it goes and how you have to be. Like you'll hear how there's policies, but then there's also you just know how it works. Like there might not be a policy that says exactly this, this, and this, but if you do this, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
So a lot of stuff in Scientology is adhered to, but it's because you can see it unfold. It's not because it came out of a Hubbard Communications Office bulletin. It's
Right.
just you even saying, which like I would imagine you would say something like in a course room, like, I have a little issue with this one part here, like what is being said here? Because in my estimation, this doesn't make any sense because of ... And immediately, right, it would be, what does this word mean? What's the definition of this? What's the definition of that? And then if they couldn't get anything on you, then it'd be word clearing. Now you pick up the cans, they're gonna find something, right?
Yeah.
And if they can't find a word, it's because you're out ethics. So it never ends. Like in other words, the parlor game ends up with selfless realizing that you don't want me to say that again, right?
Yes.
I got
Yeah,
you.
you speak up and you're entering into a heads I win, tails you lose scenario. So don't do it. Don't do it. And especially, I mean, I was just thinking, for people that were raised in this as kids, and I think we've talked about this before, like all of your safety and your security, your sustenance, your emotional support, everything is conditioned upon you agreeing with all of this stuff. And so would become part of, be a very, very strong thread in the fabric of your life. And I think at that point, hard to get out.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you just say? The last word?
Yeah. I think, being raised in this kind of thing would make all of this so strong in somebody, so motivated as a child to adhere to everything that people want you to do because all of your existence is contingent upon you believing. And and demonstrating that you're completely in line with all of these teachings.
That's perfectly said. Yeah. But I like the tails you win, heads I lose, whatever, because tail, whatever you said. Because like I said, there's no policy that says don't tell your supervisor that you're cool with most of this,
Yeah.
but or something, or not to say anything. And it just, but you never end up winning. Like when you say your wins at dinner time or something, you're just trying to get to tomorrow. You're not going to get any high fives for that shit. People are going to go, well, of course, that's LRH, and if your ethics are in, the shit works. And so you never get credit, right? LRH gets the credit if something great happens to you or from you. Only when something is missing does now selfless matter. Like selfless is only talked about because something fucked up. When something good happened, it was because of LRH. Give him a hand.
Yep. I mean, every authoritarian regime, all praise goes to the dear leader. None for you now.
No.
All praise to the dear leader.
So we got some A+ special guests on Thursday at 2. Everyone's in luck. We have the world famous Davey Mismanage backstage.
Heck
and
yeah.
You want to bring them out?
Here we go. Davey Mismanage to the stage. Welcome.
Hello.
All
and thanks for leading in right with one of my favorite things about Scientology, the correlation with authoritarian regimes. That's like that is my area.
Yeah.
So thanks for setting that up.
Tell everybody how long you've been doing this. I know it's been 20 years, 25 years.
Well, I've been a fan. I've been following the whole drama for over 20 years. Watching all the stuff, the Anonymous, and even before that, probably on YouTube, and then all of a sudden, I'm watching Aaron one day and he's talking about streets, and I didn't even know what was happening at the testing center. And I'm like, that's a 10-minute walk from my house. If I don't get involved with that, like the universe is just knocking on my door, man. Okay, time to get off the bench, get into the game, yeah, I got interested in Scientology when I took my first personality test at age 17, and just got off the train. I was traveling around Europe with my friend, and we start talking to some guy, and he's like, "Oh, come and take this personality test." And I got body routed at 8 a.m. in Munich, Germany.
No.
And I got to hear how messed up I am. And they got just the class for me. And I can start that day. And I was like, you got classes in English about my exact thing today, starting today? Like, how the hell does this work? But I blew him off. I said, I got my money at the hotel. I got to go get my money. I'll be right back. Never.
Have you ever read any books?
Magic words.
No, I might have tried to read Dianetics at that point, because I was always interested in spiritual stuff, and I grew up in the LA media market, so I saw the Dianetics commercials 3 times an hour. When you're watching TV back then, there'd be a volcano.
Yeah.
And Dianetics, right, in the 70s. And but it was like, oh, this is interesting. What I didn't know anything about it. But back then, cults were a big deal in the 70s. There used to be so many cult people at airports that they put circles on the ground that the cult members had to stand inside of the circle to proselytize. They couldn't just free range at the airport. So everybody was terrified about cult back then.
Well, I would love to know.
They had become deadly.
From Selfless or you, Davey, or both of you, because I'm sure, I've never read one single self-help book because I would just want to obviously projectile vomit in the entire section, right? So I can't even handle it. But if I was like one of you guys, I would imagine, because you're well read too, that you probably read a couple books from other people. Okay, know who or what about, but how to have a better life or how to just be comfortable with yourself or some kind of general what have you. And then if you have read an LRH book, how do you compare an LRH book to other people who write those kind of self-help books? I would love to know. Either one of you.
Well, for me, what it would be, from what I have read, it's either like Dianetics, where it's just like, what the hell are you talking about? Okay. Or it's like, brush your teeth in the morning and wipe your ass, when you go to the bath. It's like, okay, I think I already knew about that, like,
Yeah,
it's like the way to happiness kind of thing, of
like
like,
one high pitched voice, former Toronto professor, clean your room.
right. It's just like, okay, so either it's like total word salad, meaningless, whatever, or it's just obvious shit that everybody should know already.
Yeah,
That's what it seems like. Like you can't argue with like brush your teeth.
no,
You know,
don't. I mean, for all of our sakes, don't, please.
yeah, right, yeah. So it's not profound. It's not spiritual. It's not. It's like I figured it out, and I'm telling you. But Dianetics is from. I didn't try that hard. Whatever. If I tried now, I'd probably get through a lot more. But
Yeah.
it seemed very unreadable. It seemed just.
That makes me feel good. I mean, are there self-help guys that are funny, exciting,
Oh yeah.
realistic,
Oh
or
yeah.
are they all boring and goofy and
What,
like I
Eckhart
don't have a clue?
Tolle is one of these guys that's kind of more woo,
What's his
out there,
name?
mystical. Eckhart Tolle.
Eckhart Tolle.
Um, and then one person that kind of is still really out there. I don't believe half of what the person says. Certainly in the self help realm and mysticism, and quantum mysticism, would be Deepak Chopra, who, I mean, the guy's a gazillionaire. He has a bazillion books with a whole lot of claims about like the nature of reality, about being able to manifest reality with your thoughts, like being able to activate the quantum field with your damn intentionality and all of that stuff. I read Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, which is, I think, what rocketed him onto the onto the scene in the late 90s. I mean, he had already written a bunch of other books. I think he has an MD in something. But he's pretty, pretty high up there in the self-help world, and kind of is genre busting in a way. But
But you
then
got
there,
through the whole book. That's good.
yeah, no, it's way better organized than most of these other things, and it makes a whole lot of really bizarre claims that are somewhat they're exciting if you believe them. I think the guy's a grifter, but and he's trading on people's wish to believe that these things were true, and wish to believe that if they did these certain things that they'd never die, or that their body would never die.
And you read Dianetics, right?
Yeah, I've read pieces of Dianetics. My brother brought that home when we were like 10 or 11 or 11 and 12, in the midst of the huge run in the late 80s, from 86 to 89, I think, was a terribly huge push to sell that book on television.
Yeah.
And they had like the full person sized display at our local bookstore, and he went in there and grabbed a copy, and we would thumb through that and be like, could you, this is ridiculous. And that one more so, it seems like that's more cut and paste, which I think a lot of self-help people do before they find their voice. And L. Ron Hubbard seemed to have gone through a bunch of some of the psychological literature, but a bunch of other early 20th century self-help stuff, and just grabbed at it. There's hardly an original thought in it, as far as I can tell.
I figured Dynetics was probably original to the degree that it's so shitty that no one would have anything remotely similar.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the worst movies out there, they're so shitty, they're captivating in a weird
right.
way, like Troll
Hmm.
2 or Birdemic or yeah.
And I always thought I thought he made a really big mistake by telling people that I mean, part of it is the sauce that sold it. But on the other hand, I thought, well, how can this scam keep working? Because if, like, you and your brother Selfless did book one on each other, for
Yeah.
20 to 100 hours, and then after that time, you're like, well, we're both can't remember where the keys are.
Yeah, we're done here
Not,
for the exercise and
yeah,
where'd our
like
time go?
you're almost allowing people to prove it doesn't work, which I thought was sort of weird, for a cult. Like, is it the whole, like, I always figured the idea was the rabbit, in the hat, and here, OT3 didn't do it, well, OT4 will, and but where Scientology, like LRH was like, here, try this.
Yeah.
But then if you tried it, it wouldn't work. So the only thing that like everyone I knew never did it. I never knew anyone who did book one, and yet I'm in this from '68, through the early '90s when it was huge.
Yeah.
A couple people in
Huge.
San Francisco did, but like only like the most hippy dippiest people would even attempt it. People like you two would be like, yeah, no.
Yeah. I think the attempt is to cast a wide net and just playing the percentages that like a single digit percentage of people
Hmm.
will convince themselves that they did have some kind of positive outcome and that will attract them to it, or just the group dynamic thing will attract them to it. But you open your arms wide, you have this New York Times bestseller of sorts, you're buying all the books, but um and and that people are also attracted to that success, and you're on television, they're attracted to that too. So all of those things, not just the book but the presence of the book, the success of the book is advertising in and of itself and would get somebody in an org, I think.
Well, this is actually my area in my day job. And
Yeah.
the thing is that the way I look at it from my spiritual perspective, um, a lot of religions, a lot of cults, they take things that are real and they twist them around, or they're not fully explained or whatever. A little bit of information is a lot of times worse than none at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think a lot of times what happens with religions, with cults, whatever, is that they take something um that's legit and they make it into something terrible, right? Like, if you take, let's say, the Catholic Church, right? Let's say Jesus loved everybody, Jesus was, let's say it's all true, just for argument's sake. And
Accepted.
then you have this group that steals everybody's money, molests their kids, all this stuff, and it basically like inoculates you away from the truth of it while still acting like you're part of it, right? Which is, to me, like the most evil thing you could do, right? It's like, if you get abused in a self-help situation, it's almost like now you got no chance for any help,
That's a
right? So,
great point.
right, it's really like,
It's
it's like
horrifying.
demonic,
It's
it's
horrifying.
really evil. And
Realizing that you've reached out for help, you've finally gotten yourself to some kind of help, you've gotten over yourself, you've made it to the place, and the help that you've now received isn't help, and not only that, is further damaging. It is horrifying.
there was this guy that I interviewed in my first month of doing this stuff. He came out of the Scientology org. You can see it on my page. He has like a yellow leather jacket. And I started asking him about Scientology, and he's like, I like it. Okay. And his story was basically that it was like his parents died, his fiance left him, his grandparents died, everybody that he knew and loved died, and he got some money and he was lonely, and then like he went to a therapist, it didn't help, and then Scientology's like, we'll help you. And and so that was his big lifeline. And I said, so how are you going to feel if you give them like 300 grand or whatever, and then you find out about this whole Xenu thing that they tell you is bullshit the whole way through, but now you get to OT3 and they're like, yeah, Xenu. How are you going to feel then? And he's like, oh, I'll just make another 300 grand. I was like, dude, give me 300 grand if it's that easy for you to make 300 grand. Like, it's like they're taking people at their lowest point. That's what they're looking for. Your
Yes.
ruin.
Yeah.
Then they bring you in and love bomb you. And it's exactly the format of a narcissistic relationship. They bring you in with love bombing. They make, then they cut you off from the outside world, so you only have them.
Yep.
And then the price goes up. Wow, what a shock. It's diabolical. It's genius, and it's like, and it doesn't work, but they keep coming. So it's just, it's you got to hand it to them on that evil genius level. They figured something out.
I sort of felt like Scientology only did well because what the genius part was, they allowed you, if you're rich, okay, and there's a lot of wealthy people in SoCal, so I knew a lot of people who did no training, but I saw them every day. Right? So these are people who have enough money to stay in session for years. Okay? I see them at lunchtime. I see them on breaks. I see them at graduations. What are you doing? And they're always getting auditing, right? And I'm thinking, I get this, because this allows you not to have to confront all the nonsense that I had to do with the training side. Okay, which is what really required. You want to scream at ashtrays and all this nonsense. So it allows you to skip all of that. But then when you don't get a lot of gains, they just tell you that 50% of your gains minimally come from the training side. So they always got this little caveat, which could explain why you're having some difficulties, right? And so I figured, well, I will have no difficulties because I'm co-auditing my broke ass all the way up here, right? So I'm getting all the gains, but all the gains equals zilch. So I'm like, I'm attesting to stuff, all the time that I know I got none of.
Well, and these people with all the money, they're probably not getting challenged. They're not getting their ass kicked in the sessions. And they're just sitting around talking about themselves all day long, and they get to go and talk about themselves and get patted on the head as long as they keep shelling out that cash.
That's a good point. They never go to ethics.
No, right. Right. None of the punishments apply to them, right? Because they're the ones paying the bills. Yeah.
And you can't say, the other scam, Selfless, is that you can't say that, of course, the tech only works if it's delivered correctly.
Right.
So if you're at a Class 8 org, of course, you're getting the best of the best, right? Class, like my sister was a Class 8 auditor. You just weren't getting any better than that. So, supposedly. So they almost have to go along when you say, I feel great. And it's wonderful. They're like, yeah. Even if you're not really where you're supposed to be, because they'd be tattling on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like Jason Begay said, hey, when he complained about not getting the gains at Flag, and he's like, I got the senior CS int, I got the top brass everywhere. If you guys can't deliver this, 100% standardly, call me when you can, okay?
Right.
And give me my money back for
Yeah,
the
that was the sticking
non-standard
point.
BS, right? So, and because if you were so they're in that sort of place where they can't even get mad at the PC, the person getting the auditing, right? Because
Mhm.
yeah, that's a great point you brought up about not getting busted. Because if you're not getting gains, it's on them.
Yeah, at that point. And
Yeah,
that's a really good example, that specific example of when they were able to flip the tables and say, I'm not getting the gains. That's got to be on you. At
well,
this point,
especially
give me my money.
co-auditing. I knew better than I knew how long I had to go. With Method One co-audit, with Ned, with New Era Dynetics, with like after the okay to operate an e-meter course, I knew okay, now I'm heading in here. Here we go. And they want you to attest to anything so that they can then sack that money, call it good, get the stat, get you on the next thing, right? So they're not going to fight you either. So but I would always do enough where I could at least fake someone into, like seem like I'm doing what you need to do to get here, and, but yeah, I can honestly say, outside of simple things like you brought up, like, communication type stuff, work type stuff, where if you don't party hard the night before, you might be better, like, okay, that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Thanks.
If you eat well and you're well rested, you might do better. Could be something to that. But other than that, I didn't get one gain ever out of anything. It was all garbage, 100% garbage. I can prove it's all garbage. Nobody has any gains ever. Everyone who ever said they had one, they were saying that because they had to say that. And it's easy to lie when everyone around you's lying too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really
Well,
easy.
it seems to me like the thing of like, and I've never been a Scientologist, but the thing where you tell the story over and over until like the first time you tell it, you're crying, you're freaking out, whatever, and then they make you repeat it so many times that it loses the charge. To me, that sounds like the most effective thing I've ever heard about Scientology. But that's also something that you would do in psychology or whatever. It's
Yeah,
not
just like
just,
recapitulation kind
yeah.
of the event. And
So it's a
yeah.
pretty standard technique, but it is something they do in Scientology. And yeah, that, you know, like if you feel the emotion that you're trying to not feel, and then you feel and you talk about the thing that triggered it, and you do it over and over, you get desensitized to the issue. I mean, that seems like, okay, yeah, I could see that working. Whether or not the e-meter is the way to find out if it worked, that's
Yeah,
another
I mean,
question.
you can see this at work when you repeat any word for, over 20 times, and, especially by like time 40 or 50, you do not know what this word means anymore.
Right. Yeah, you could say your own name over
Yeah,
and over,
it,
and then be like, what is this word?
pretty
Like
much.
this has nothing to do with me, yeah. But the thing is, they get you at this weak spot, your ruin, and then they promise you this thing that then they take away. So like I said, like a narcissist, they bring you in with love bombing, and then once you're hooked, they get rid of all your other friends, family, whatever. They start driving a wedge, just like Scientology. Beware the SPs, they're bringing you down, right? And then they start punishing you for things that you do. They withdraw the love bombing, they withdraw all the positive shit. And then what they do, it's like if you went into a casino in Vegas and within the first 5 minutes on a slot machine, you won like 10 grand. and you're never going to win 10 grand on a slot machine ever again, but you're going to probably lose $1 million over, the rest of your life trying
Oh
to
yeah.
chase that high. It's like what they say with crack. They say people who smoke crack, I've never done it, but they say that first hit of crack is the best thing ever. And you will never have that feeling ever again. And whenever you're smoking crack, you're trying to get that first high.
Yeah. It's
So
the same with,
Scientology gives you some first high like that.
yeah.
Like the whole org is like, oh my God, you're here. We love you, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
this is an amazing place. I want to hang here more. These people are cool. And then all of a sudden you break a little rule and then boom, hammer comes down. And you're like, oh shit, no, I want to get back to the love. I want to get back to like, they're all awesome.
That's probably what you just said, Davey, is the only good memories I have actually that I never even remember these. But now what you're saying that I do remember like feeling good for a couple of seconds, even though it's all bullshit. It was always a neat feeling like when a supervisor would be like, okay, that's it, everybody, and just stop everybody in their tracks. And even someone walking by in the hallway, like the staff that would stop, and Eric just finished the how not to be an asshole course, and and then they're just clapping like yeah, way to go, whoa, and you're like, you get goosebumps. You're like, damn, I don't even know these three people, and they're like, and then you give your wins, and then they're all shaking your hand and saying, boy, you're amazing. I'm telling you, just like you said, after you get done with that conga line of fucking love bombing, you're like, this ain't bad.
Yeah. Right. It's that positive reinforcement that keeps you coming back, and selfless, you studied psychology. I learned like that it's the intermittent reinforcement of like the way slot machines work. That's what gets you hooked.
You bet.
Like, you don't get it every time, but sometimes you get a big one where the whole org is clapping for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? And every now and then you get, hey, good job, keeps you going. And every now and then you get slapped and you get punished and you get whatever. But you keep chasing the high,
And you keep it randomized. No ability to predict when it's coming. So the subject of this is up in the air, always trying to have everything ready for the worst and best eventuality,
just like in a narcissistic relationship.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same motif. It's like,
as far as I can tell,
we can give you all the love, but you better do what we say. And you seem to be a little non-compliant these days, so slap, and it's really evil. It's because you're taking people's biggest weakness, using it. I mean, that's the deepest evil to me. When you're promising good and then screwing people over.
Yeah, you're promising some kind of membership to this group that for some of these people, especially heartbroken, lonely, this kind of love or attention that you might get from one of these groups might be a stronger signal of oxytocin and dopamine for that kind of connection than you've ever had in your entire
life. Right. Your parents didn't do that for you. You weren't popular in school. You had shitty jobs or whatever, or even good jobs, but nobody really gave a shit. You got your check and that's it.
Yep.
You can't get laid. You can't get money. You can't do whatever. And all of a sudden you go to this place and you're like a movie star.
Yep.
That's true.
And you're like, this is the best place I've ever been in my life. I'm going to hang here,
Yeah,
that's a great point.
They're pretty much going after the vulnerable in this way. I mean, it's all levels of intelligence, all walks of life, all levels of achievement, and levels of financial success. But all of it is what's similar between all of these people is that they're all looking for something. They're seeking meaning. They're seeking connection. Um, they're heartbroken in very many
Hmm.
cases, lost in the world.
Hmm.
And Scientology and very many groups like it are there to catch you,
Hmm.
dust you off, and put you to work for whatever they may want to do with you.
Did you ever see the video of Tom Cruise when he was like 18 years old or whatever? There's this interview with him, and he's completely vulnerable and fragile. It's before he made it big in acting.
Yeah, he was kind of a
And
troubled kid.
yeah, and you could see exactly that's, all this outer shit, just like Miscavige, like I'm a macho, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all to hide that deep vulnerability. And the problem is the more you get the rewards for your bullshit, for faking that you're, confident and capable and all this stuff, the more you're driving that deep vulnerability into a place that'll never be accessed, and
Mm.
but it will erupt at some point.
Yeah. In an inopportune and probably inelegant way.
Yeah.
Well, look, I could talk to Davey as I have many times for hours and hours, and
Yes.
believe me, he's one of the funnest people I know of to talk to. I love talking to Davey, and I can't
Same.
Thank
wait
you.
to protest with you again. That's as soon as, like I say, in any day that's not 100 or 95 degrees, I'm going to really try just to keep myself out of that. So anything in the 80s, I'll be out there every day, but this 95 100 stuff is just crushing me after 3 weeks doing that
Oh
every
yeah.
day. So I don't plan on going back to that. But anyway, I really appreciate you being here with us, and
Yeah.
I want everyone to sub, please, please, please sub to Davey Mismanage's channel.
Oh yeah.
The guy has a
Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful array of stuff that he's already put on there that's super fun. And he's also really, really smart. He speaks a bunch of languages. He's lived everywhere. He knows a lot about a lot. And that makes for some real interesting listening. And
Indeed. I'm
I
also a
appreciate
fan
you
of you
being
on
here.
the street. You're a vibe as a protester right off the bat. Like a sense of calm and centering. I felt immediately with you hitting the street. I think one of the first times we were out there together was on Easter, and I
Hmm.
look forward to seeing you out there and protesting with you again.
Yeah, me too, man. Thank
Well,
you
thank you.
guys.
Thank Davey.
All right,
We'll see
man.
you soon.
All
Take care, my
right.
brother.
And there he
That's so fun.
was.
I love that guy.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Solid booking. And next, uh, an amazing member of this community who's been lifting us all up with fantastic art and a whole lot of spirit and gumption, research and awesomeness. Bringing on
That
Tilty Bird.
that's the painting right there that I'm pointing at.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah. Welcome in.
Oh,
Tilty, Tilty.
I was listening to Davey so much I forgot that I was in the back studio. I thought I was just watching a live stream. I was like, this is really good. I started writing notes down. Oh, I like that. And I started painting this. I just had to. Yeah. I was body
Wow.
routed at
At
8
8
a.m.
a.m.
in
in
Munich,
Munich,
Germany.
Germany. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just, you know,
Fantastic.
it was a
That's
perfect
a
line.
really
Like I
neat
was like, that
looking.
could be a song name, like
That's a
Yeah, that
really neat look
on
right there.
the
Love that.
album Spirit Nub.
yeah, that sounds like maybe a Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds song.
A Tilty Bird and the Decroded Cruds song.
Ooh, is that a band that you actually
It's a
have?
it's my fake band.
I like fake bands. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a few of them. I've got an environmental version of Rage Against the Machine called Furious Giraffe. Yeah,
That's my favorite thing I've heard all day.
yeah, Furious Giraffe.
Did you
So
did you see that, Tilty?
I did. I didn't see what
is
it said though.
No, this is my. I'm starting my crochet,
yeah,
Oh,
and
you made that.
I'm gonna make a finger puppet, a finger sock or something,
Nice.
and that will be. I want to make a scarf, but That might take
Wrap
till
it
like
around the
20,
finger
20
first
minutes.
and then move up to the neck.
Yes.
But my Hope, my black cat, she said nope, and got a hold of this off the top of a water bottle, and nothing's safe with cat. I mean, so I'm a
No.
little bit of trouble, but the pup groomer will get me out of this.
Well, you should never assume that anything is safe, because the thing is with cats, everything is actually theirs. They're just letting you use it. So that's not even your yarn. Like,
I know.
so why are you upset?
Oh, I'm not. This is
I'm just
there's
that's what
nothing
the
we
cat
can do
thinks.
to upset me. I think another good thing about having cats though is like,
Everything.
well, everything. But yeah, I also like the other day, Roxy barfed all over my couch, right? And I was like, I go,
Nice,
hi,
yep.
baby. And she went, "Blah." And I was like, fuck. And but she was so cute. Like there's very few animals that make me go, oh, it's okay, baby. You're a cutie pie. You know, when you just ralphed all over my shit, you know, like, and somehow my heart was still like, hey, I got you. I understand. You know, and then I go
It's
clean
the
it all up.
instinct. You're just like, oh, poor little baby. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, she had a little air bubble or a hair in her throat and just needed to ralph everything up. But yeah, it does help. Like the patience is a wonderful thing that you get from that for sure. But anyway, I see one thing I love about your paint and ponders and stuff. Like it's so relaxing. It's become, and I love your show. You're the one that you do with the cool music.
Oh, when I'm just
Yeah,
doing it on my, yeah.
like I love just taking a bong rip. And I swear the other day, like when I got to choose that blue and stuff, that's all I needed to
Speaking
do.
of,
It was so fun.
I tweaked it a little bit and I think it's better.
Okay.
Nice. Is that watercolor?
This is a handmade watercolor. This is Raider Blue.
Nice.
Did you finish
It's
the
got
one that you were doing for Selfless? I saw the other day.
this one.
Oh wow.
Oh, let me turn my, there we go.
You
You
don't.
don't have to make other people's shit your shit.
Oh, that's so cool.
Such a harsh phrase.
No, but
It
it's
seems to be
true.
true. Yeah,
Because
and
Such a great
it's
one.
actually
and it's so applicable on so many levels, and especially as someone who's a viewer and constantly deals with feelings of, I can't even do anything to help. I can't. You don't have to take it
It's a great
all and
one. I love
feel
it.
it. You can apply it in like 10,000 bajillion situations.
yes.
You don't
But
have
you
to.
are helping.
Well,
Don't
I
think
got to
you're
give the
not.
credit to Fluffer. I got to give the credit to Fluffer, because they're the ones who do the incredible research. They're the one who reached out and started the Paint and Ponder. They teach you about the neurographic art. It's awesome.
It
I'm
is.
gonna do that. I just got to get to Michael's or whatever it's called. But I'm definitely gonna do one. I want to do one with yours where I'm stoned out of my mind, and I want to do a paint and ponder where, um, like I actually make something because I think
Yeah.
like I'm really good with like if you or selfless or fluffer was like working with me, I would go all the way through till I finish. But left to
You
myself, you know, then I give the cat a belly rub, and next thing you know, I'm whatever, you know, and then I'm still back here.
Yeah. It's
My
finding
problem
that
is as I'm
groove.
working on 6 at the same time.
Yeah. In any process, just like getting your pace, and I mean, once you put in kind of, I don't know, the basics to get your white belt in anything, I guess, becomes easier. And I don't know, I find getting into any of these processes, once I get it under my hands, I can just kind of plug myself into one of these things and kind of lose the entire day.
Yeah.
What I love about
Yeah.
Tilty's art like this, like the one she did for me, um, like I love abstract colors and stuff. Like I love screwing with that. I could do that all day.
Yes.
But I never ever in a million years would have thought of putting something poignant, because I can actually write letters, you know, so
Yeah.
of putting something poignant on something beautiful. I never in 100,000 years would have thought about doing that. But I think I could do my own version of that, right? Which
Absolutely.
really makes
Yeah.
me excited because it's not like I always used to be like, no art, because my sister was amazing. Like she would just look at a picture of a schooner and just pencil from looking at it, and you'd be like,
Okay.
wow, right?
Yeah.
And we'd have art fairs where like I would wait to the last day. She would try to help me, and she had all this stuff that was going to sell for $3.50, $5, and this was back when you got 5 candy bars for $1, right?
Right.
And she's like, you need to hurry up and make some. I'm like, what? You know? And so I would just start scribbling shit on everything, and then my mom was so nice. Of course, she'd buy all my garbage, right?
Oh.
But I was like 25 cents, hoping I could get that. You know, this is where the candy bar. But it always made me think it's not for me. But the reality is, and my sister would try to tell me, and I would never understand it. But it's what you're doing right here, which is there's no wrong.
Well, and see, the thing is I had the exact same thing with my cousin growing up. My younger cousin, who's like my sister, she is so incredibly talented at art, and we both grew up loving art and doing art with my grandma. And I thought, well, she's better than me, so I just shouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, so I kind of gave up a little bit, and then you made me lose my train of thought, Dad. Fucking hell. No, it's not helpful. And then
Okay.
she ended up becoming an electrician, and
Ooh.
I'm doing this. So
Yeah. Funny how things shake out, really.
and she's still incredibly talented, and it was the same thing. She was always encouraging, you know, you do different stuff than I do, you know, I like your stuff, you know, it's so, we put so much judgment on the things that we make and think, well, someone else can do it, so what's the point? Well, the point is that you might feel nice.
Yes.
Right.
A Fluffer Squirrel just dropped something pretty real. I like this. Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Fluffer's
Yeah.
helping me with that.
That's a
Fluffer's
great-
really helping me
That's
with that.
great.
Absolutely.
That is so good.
Yeah, they're so insightful. It blows my mind. I'm learning so much.
If you like doing what you
Can use
do,
stuff like
then
this.
do it. There you go. Because there's always stronger kung fu in whatever
Beautiful.
it is that you're doing. But
And what
you
is
will
that?
have
That's-
something to contribute.
That's like 4 colors and then some writing.
So
That's so cool.
It's a Mad Max quote.
yellow, orange. Yeah.
Wow. That's neat.
And then you know, you could do something different and follow it up with a Leonard Nimoy quote.
Nice.
And it's just, you know, you can just do whatever. I did this one for Liz.
It's beautiful. Well, there used to be, I think, more of text on art, kind of in the mid 20th century, art, abstract art. Started to use this more, and it's coming more into vogue. But the rejection or acceptance of these techniques or methods, they're a fashion. If you like doing it, please, and it will be good for somebody out there.
Well, I mean, you can use it for comic relief as well. I mean, as I'm the comic relief guest on the stream, I just I made this pad. It's a Star Trek pad, and the message of the day.
I
Yes,
can't see.
David
It says-
Miscavige is a piss baby.
Oh,
He's a piss baby. He's a big piss baby, straight from Starfleet.
That's right.
They said, "How fucking dare you, sir?"
Yes.
And then the fraudacity meter goes off. And what are you gonna do when the certified suppressive fraudacity meter is reading at a 666?
Yes. That's right.
well, I want to do one of your
Get back in your cult.
I will.
what do you call your streams where you have the music on them? Is that called something different?
I just called it the Bird Sanctuary with music.
Oh, okay, okay.
Right. Yes, the bird
Yeah,
sanctuary.
the Bird Sanctuary. And actually, Sunday I'll have my first guest on the stream. Two Sandwiches Tall is gonna come over. They're gonna be in the guest nest at the Bird Sanctuary.
How
These
neat.
names are great.
I love that. Bird sanctuary. That's so
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Is that the one you do at nighttime or is that in the morning?
So when I do the streams with Fluffer, it's always their paint and ponder show.
Okay.
And so the one that we do in the morning on Wednesdays is on my channel, and then the Friday night one is on their channel. And then I don't have a schedule for the ones that
Oh,
I
okay.
do by myself, but I'm going to try to do more of them more regularly because my partner fixed my stuff on my computer so that it doesn't kick me off every 20 minutes.
That's handy for
Yeah.
streaming.
That's neat. I would love to do one of those with you, though. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun, and you should definitely do a paint and ponder with Fluffer because everyone would love that.
I will absolutely do that. I
And
guarantee you
peer
this.
pressuring.
It will
Oh,
happen.
right.
It's something I desperately want to do. I just don't have anything tools to use right now, and I've been really super super busy. So I like every. That's one thing that I love about this community and YouTube that makes it so nice. Like last night, I was, you know, pissed that I couldn't be live with Selfless, right? But I love the fact that when I finally got my shit done, it's ready. I can now watch it from the beginning, and it's like that's one really neat thing about YouTube. I gotta admit.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm able to catch up on lots of stuff that I can't see live, right? I see as much as I can live, but sometimes I actually have things I have to do.
But you're still watching it live as it happened too. So
Yeah,
it's not like you're just like watching, like a summary recap. Like you can
Yeah.
actually, and having the chat replay and all of that, it's like, okay, you really feel like you can inform yourself on the things that you've missed, especially which is so nice with all the different time zones and all the different countries and everybody having different streaming schedules and working jobs as well. And
yeah. But it's really nice to watch those because those chill me out. Um, and you played some wacky music that just makes me want to get stoned, and it's just cool.
when I've got the synth wave going.
It's like that was a fun stream, but I'm definitely gonna surprise you with some pondering and some paint.
Fantastic.
Great.
I think we can all look forward to that.
But make sure everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Tilty.
Oh,
Uh,
and I also wanted to mention that Fluffer actually did a Fluffathon, an 8-hour stream.
It was amazing. I caught part of that. That was amazing.
It was so great.
It was awesome.
I woke up just in time to close it
saw
off with
you
a fart
there.
joke.
Nice.
It had to be done. It's the Fluffathon.
Yes.
But they did an incredible job. I was so happy to see the outpouring of support of just it was awesome.
I
And
subscribed to a bunch of channels. Oh,
yeah,
Me
I
too.
was gonna say if you missed it, go catch it on the replay because there's so many good people linked in that.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. So the live chat replay, you could catch all of those links that
All
they
the
drop.
links
Yeah.
keep coming up for you.
Absolutely. It was a lot. It was
There's a
great to
lot
learn
of
so
people.
much.
Well, and they really wanted to
So
focus on the
quickly.
people that have under 1,000 people
course,
so that we
of
can
course.
really just boost up these people because there are so many people that have so much information and they relay it so well and in
Yeah.
so many different creative and just really insightful ways that they don't have they need a little boost. And I'm sure that there's going to be more fluffathons in the future because there's so
Yeah.
many people in this community that need to be boosted up and
I
said, hey, you're
benefited
doing
from
great
people's help
work.
in the same way. I think all of us were brought up similarly, and it's gonna take these kinds of efforts to raise these people up so that we can benefit more from all of this information, so that all of these perspectives will be pushed forward by YouTube and the algorithm to more people. It's absolutely right on. I think a number of people are trying to do similar efforts. I know, Eric, you are. I know that's part of what we're trying to do on this channel and a number of other channels. I've heard this idea. This is becoming a popular thing, trying to
Yeah.
get the next round, the next layer of protester, activists, streamers, chatters, the whole deal.
As I want to see as we keep going like this, and we bring these people up, the great thing is they're going to be able to do that themselves with that next round.
Yep.
And this thing will really just create its own.
It's a
that
hope cycle instead of a
positivity.
doom spiral.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a positivity spiral. And when like it gave me goosebumps when Bianca said on my stream, she said right as I was saying, you know, it's hard to believe that a comment for someone who's not a streamer, I mean, you might just be like, get a life or whatever. But the truth is that one comment, like, you know, where someone goes, hey, I really dig what you did, you know, good job, keep it up, you know, I got you, you know, can't wait for the next one. You're like, oh, let's go, right? I mean, it's just one little comment can make such a difference. And Bianca wrote, the comments mean everything. Period.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're new, do not think for a second that every comment isn't important. Every comment is huge. You know, once you have 27,000 comments a day, I'm sure you just lose track of anything. But when you're new, man, that positivity just, you can hold. I used to go back and read comments from stuff a week earlier because I didn't have any good ones since.
I do that. I do that with mine. People will leave a nice little comment on one of my art shorts, and I'll open it up, or on one of the paint and ponders, and I'll read it, and I'll be like, that is the highlight of my day, is reading that, because it feels
Powerful.
yeah, someone took the time to write that down. You know, it's not just it just, you know, someone took the time to write that. But
if you're a victim too, though, the scary thing too is that no one cares. Like if you never say anything, you're not going to have to face the music, right? Yeah. But if you do give it up and no one cares, it might even be worse than everyone saying you suck, because then you just be so deflated. You feel like, oh, forget it. You know, I mean, just forget it. And so there's that window that I just believe if we could just let these people know we care and that they're amazing and they're incredibly important. That the entire reason I go out there and bust my ass is to inspire. So once someone is inspired, it deserves everything we got to make sure they stay on course right now, if we can have anything to do with that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I think you said this last night, and you said it so well, Selfless. But there's so many things that go through your head that people aren't even thinking about. Like when just the protesting's tough enough, and the 107 degrees and everything else, right? Yes. It's tough enough. But if you're thinking about lots of other negativity or this and that, it becomes just, you know. So imagine if you're new and vulnerable, and you came out of pocket like Bianca did. Right. Boy, oh boy, you know, if I didn't have something hit me real quick and hug me real quick, I'd probably be like, well, that was a mistake.
I got burned on the hot stove.
I'm not doing that again. You know, yeah. So I just hope we can get everyone back, because they're so important, and we need them to. Everyone has the ability to hit other people that other people can't hit, and create that empathy, which is the ingredient necessary for people to go all out on this. You know, so that's right. I'm so proud of this last couple days, and the vibe is amazing, and I just can't say enough. That Fluffathon was just so incredible, and I just hope a whole bunch of more streamers will keep that in mind. So if there's a day where you're not going to do anything, but you had an hour to kill, Maybe you fire it up and just pick someone that you really enjoy that you found 2 nights earlier that moved you, and say, you know what, whether we get this guy 5 subscribers or 100 subscribers, I'm going to make sure that the people I touch know about this guy or this lady. You know what I mean? And I think that could have huge dividends.
Absolutely.
You know?
Agreed.
Especially because everyone takes in information differently and relays information differently. If you find someone who the information sticks with you and you're like, hey, I know that you'll be able to take in information from this person, you should give them a listen. You know, that's huge, because there's a difference between saying, hey, take a look at this, and it being received well, and then someone saying, oh, take a look at this, and you're like, oh, okay, what the fuck, whatever. You know, so it's
Totally.
so nice to have such variety that you can match up. This person's going to be a really good fit for this person, and this person's going to be a really good fit for this person. And my grandma might like watching Feral Cheryl, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Totally.
So, you know, it's fantastic, the variety, the diversity.
Well said.
Absolutely.
And it's there too. I was going down that list,
Sure.
and you can tell. I mean, it's everybody, and we can't lose. I mean, I don't care if you're old, young, whatever. We have people that are in your demo that can tell you how this place destroyed them. So if you go through this, you're going to know we're not here spinning our wheels. This is no joke. This is a horrifically awful thing that we're trying to take down here, and it's a beast. Okay, and when it has its tentacles on you, it I don't know how you get out. I really don't. I don't know, but so you just
I don't think
that's
Tom
why
Cruise
You'd
would
have
want
to tell us.
Tentacles involved.
but that's why I'm so
Jeez.
excited that, like, how did Windy City put it? He said, he goes like, I'm better. I knew I was better. I would be more effective at keeping people from entering the cult than I would getting someone who's in out.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And I hate to look at, like, you know, okay, you're lost if you're already in. Like, I don't want to think that way, but if I had to at gunpoint, you know, pick something here as far as what I feel the value and importance lies, it would be to keep people from getting in. Because if this guy is already like that guy who attacked Aja, I mean, look, is there really helping? Can we help him? I mean, come on, the guy's nuts. He's gone. It's over.
Well, unless people coming in might be one of the things that might make it click for some of the people that are still in. Why aren't more people joining?
Oh, sure, but I was just talking about, like,
I'm just saying it can also impact that in another way.
and I'm just talking about my own reality, though. Like, I'm the kind of person that if I heard, you know, Selfless's booming voice saying, you know, child trafficker, you know, and I'd be like, I don't want nothing to do with this fucking place. They won't even have a chance to pitch me. I'm like, no, we're good.
Yep.
You know,
I don't want to take the risk that I'm going to align myself with child traffickers.
How did you get a guy this angry to stand out here for 6 weeks screaming child? You don't tell me you didn't do anything. Okay, don't tell me you didn't do it. I know you did something, and it ain't good.
Yes.
So I don't want
then
your
it's
book.
not hard to point them at information that proves the case as well. So,
But if I was just lazy, I would never get into the church. I would never get involved just from Selfless standing there doing his thing. There's no way I'm walking over that chalk and walking in there. There's no way I'm listening to him and Pearl and then walking in there. It's not happening. Just like you see Streets. You know, I mean, I can't get enough of them. I've watched 700 hours and I need more because it's so fun. But when he goes, "Oh, I got you again."
I mean, I mean, not just at the Scientology protest stuff, but as far as cop watching, he's easily one of the best, if not the best in the country, because of his, I think, his diverse methodology, where he's not just watching the cops on the street, but he knows the command structure. He knows what the commanders are doing, what the orders they're issuing are, and why they're doing it, and also knows what the politicians want, why they are directing the police department to do what they're doing, knows their business, knows where all of these people are trying to get their money, what their political aspirations are, and he triangulates them. And I don't know any other cop watcher that does that.
No.
I think it's William Good.
Well, when he screams at him to roll the window down, and then starts busting their ass about some frozen yogurt they bought where they parked in the red, and I'm like,
I love
and
it.
you can see the cops are just like, just go away. Like, how do you get rid of this guy? Like,
You don't.
He's like herpes for the cops. It's great.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. It's what they
Yeah.
deserve.
it's so good.
Yeah, they caught it honestly, I think. Yeah.
Gonorrhea. Like gonorrhea.
Ooh,
But
yes, you've got a nasty case of gonorrhea. Ooh.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, William Good.
Yeah, we don't mean to make you a disease.
No.
No.
Only one that would ravage police officers that are horribly corrupt.
Yeah, it's like a disease
That's
of
all
justice.
that we mean to say. That's right.
And the other cool thing about him that I don't think he gets any credit for because he's so awesome and he gets credit with so much other stuff. No one has time to credit him for this. He actually is super nice to like 3 cops in Los Angeles that are good people.
Yeah.
Where he's like, this guy is okay.
Yeah,
he's treated
I've
me
heard him
right.
say that a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, this guy's treated me right. He's been up front. He hasn't lied to me. He's been straightforward. He helps me out. This is a good guy.
Yep.
And it's like, well, hot damn. Because if 99% of the people I met were complete pieces of garbage, I might forget to even say anything about that 1%.
Oh yeah.
And it's
imagine
really
how
important
hard
to
it is
point
to
that
be a
out.
good cop in such a corrupt city. Like, they don't like you. Actually, you're a threat to them. You're not on the
I was
tape.
gonna say you're not popular.
doing the dirty stuff. Ah, geez. Are you going to go to internal affairs?
Ooh.
Or who knows? Like,
Yeah.
Training Day isn't like just a fantasy.
Serpico, right? Isn't that the
That
movie?
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a dude. For reals. It happens
Yeah.
all the time. I think in any corrupt city where there are corrupt cops, Boston is where I grew up, is definitely one of these. LA is classic. So many movies about it. About corrupt cops. LA Confidential is not a bad one about corrupt cops.
And it's really different watching it as a Canadian too, because like we're so closely related to the United States, but it
Yes.
is different. And so it's
Yeah.
it's surreal.
Like order of magnitude crime statistics, or like a bunch of the aberrant social ills, the United States is running away with it next to Canada.
That's really scary to watch. Like I worry about everybody down there.
You should, because things are getting a little out of control down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of in an ahistoric way. But I don't know. Did we get I know we've gone long, but I did want to know, let's see. How'd you get into this?
Right. The interview part.
I mean, we've had some talking, but I just
We've had some
that
talking, so-
was just a burning question on my mind.
Yeah. No, so I was doing research on recovering from learning about narcissism and other high control groups like FLDS, JWs, all those kinds of things, the ones that I had experience with. And then also at the same time, I was doing binging on UFO stuff. So I was like reading about childhood trauma and narcissism and UFOs. And I was led down this like YouTube link path where I ended up on Serge's channel and Lara and Aaron. But I really, the one that I really started listening to was Serge's channel, and I just watched that for weeks. And then I went over to Lara's channel, and then her music, it just like punched me right in the sternum. And it was just like right before Christmas, it was I got late ADHD diagnosis, and so through that, I guess like this was kind of like my safe hyperfixation place where I was learning and healing and doing and able to talk to people and then the learning kind of just went from there. And then Fluffer reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do an art stream? And I was like, yeah.
So they were aware that you did visual arts just through the chats,
Um,
or
That's where
no,
I
I
thought,
had done,
Tilton.
okay, so I actually started by making okay, so when DOA protected Lara that one day, I made him the crest, the Knight of the Goldenrod, because he just kind of jumped in and saved her, right? And I was like, oh,
absolutely.
so I made that, and then I made the Kids Can't Consent balloons, which are actually behind me here. Children
Oh,
cannot
cool.
consent, because I was also had experience with that, and that really was just important to me. And then I made another couple things, and then I made some more art for Lara and for Tori, and so I sent them my art, and a couple of those I had uploaded as shorts, and I think Fluffer saw the Kids Can't Consent one, and maybe the
All
Tori
right.
one and stuff, and then so it was kind of like, yeah, it started that way.
The first time
Amazing.
I saw you, Tilty, you were painting outside, like at a barn or something. It looked really neat, and it's actually what caught my
That's my
attention.
house.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like,
Wow,
Well,
that
my
was so
cool.
grandparents'
cool.
house.
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought a cow was gonna walk by or something, And it just looks so peaceful and so nice out there. Uh,
Yeah, I want to do more stuff in the yard because it's really, really nice there.
and where are you? British Columbia
I
or something?
yeah, I'm in Victoria, so I'm on the island.
Wow. How long does it take to, like, if you wanted to get off the island, like, how long would it take you to get to the mainland?
I would have to drive from where I am to the ferry terminal, and then it's about an hour and 20 minutes on the ferry
So
to
it's
get to
like
the mainland.
25 miles or something on the water?
It's a certain amount of kilometers.
Well, I mean, I just thought that because Catalina is 26 miles from San Pedro, and it takes an hour and a half, hour and 19 minutes.
Yeah, it sounds about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably similar. I've never been anywhere interesting like that, so I have no point of reference.
It's what you're on now. It's just an
Yeah.
island. Well, that's cool. So anyway, make sure you sub to Tilty, and
Yeah.
no
I'll
matter
be
what.
having two sandwiches on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say I'm
No,
having two sandwiches on Sunday, and they're going to be talking a little bit about how you can contact your state legislation because it's a little less intimidating than approaching it on a federal level. So she's got some really great things that she's going to share. She's talked about it with people before, so
Yeah.
that's going to be really good in terms of because we're both number one grandma fans. We're going to talk a little bit about elder abuse, and I think that'll be good if you're interested in that
Great
kind of.
topics.
I mean,
and
not
that's
interested in it, but you know what I mean.
yeah, I know. What time is that happening? So everyone can go.
That's going to be noon PST on Sunday.
All
Okay,
right. Great time.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks
Lunchtime.
for being here with us. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me on. I appreciate you both.
I'll see if
Fantastic.
I can't book you to other stuff you don't know about later and
Yes,
let you
please.
know.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Later on.
Thanks for being here, Tilty.
Bye bye.
Bye now. That was
Wow.
fun.
What a
That was fun.
fantastic show.
We draw the big stars to the yard.
Yes, excellent conversations. And yeah, it seems we've gone a little long, but
What
I
are you
don't
gonna
know.
do?
It was just fun.
The whole
Fantastic.
idea of this was to chill with people we want to chill with. So if it goes long, it goes long.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to be good about that, but not that hard.
No, no. And having a flexible response is good too. So,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly. These are definitely people we wanted to chill with. Absolutely.
But awesome. So what else is anything you need to plug? I got nothing
Oh,
going.
let's see. I don't know about plugging, but Pearl and I are going to be heading off to Massachusetts to go back to my place there and break it down and grab whatever I'm going to take out to Texas to join forces, join our kind of our lives and our possessions, and then make our way out west. So we're going to be taking a few 1,000-mile drive starting Saturday to go to
Didn't I hear though that you're
Massachusetts.
going to go camping somewhere cool?
Very
Isn't that what?
probably. It's going to be on the fly. The place has, I mean, to be determined, but yes, I believe we are going to be camping someplace cool, and I know Pearl has a bunch of spots along the way that are picked out.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
And do you have like more musical equipment you're bringing? Do you have guitars and stuff at your house?
Yeah, I've got a pretty large drum kit, completely mic'd up, an 18-channel digital mixer that I was streaming out of that I think I'm going to be using for the Laura FM band.
Did you?
I think I can do most of the technical stuff from there. Yeah, some guitars, all my sampler stuff. I had to bite the bullet. I got myself a keyboard here finally so that I could do some of the songwriting that I've started to do out
Nice.
here for a couple people. And yeah, it's going to be pretty much a band's worth of gear that I'm dragging back. It's mostly the gear, books, and vinyl is what I'm going to be bringing.
And are you going to go see Cubs?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, part of the idea is to end up on the street out there in front of the org and go see Cubs. Absolutely,
That's going to be a great
gonna be
stream.
great. No kidding. Oh yeah, no. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get back in my hometown and hit one out of the park in front of that.
And you're gonna go in the water? You said you're gonna
go into the dirty water of Charles River? No, but hopefully the ocean at
the
some point.
ocean, yeah, the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. I was hoping. I'm going to be furiously moving house, but hopefully one of these days we'll be able to get out on my father's boat and go fishing off the tip of Cape Cod.
Nice.
He's got a boat that's moored out there in the second to last town on Cape Cod, and you can take it out and go out to the very point, kind of where the two different currents meet around the top of it, and that's where a lot of the striped bass run, and a pretty good chance of catching a striped bass going out there at the right time.
I love striped bass.
Yeah,
I fished out of a buddy of mine has a boat, and they launch off out of the Bronx of all places.
Oh wow!
And then we went out there, and he had a bunch of what do you call lobster traps or
yeah, lobster pots sometimes, but traps or pots. Yeah,
and I couldn't believe it. Every one he pulled up had a lobster, and I'm like, what is this, a can't miss type of thing? And he goes, well, we let them soak for enough time where we know we're going to have it.
Yep.
And then they bring those up, and then they were also we were fishing and catching stuff, but everything I had to throw back. They weren't eating fish. Like I got like some Nerf ball dude that was all black meat or so, you know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't catching something to eat. I just had to throw them back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. I love going out fishing. That's probably my favorite thing. That if I was rich, that's something I would totally be about.
It's amazing. It's a great activity. You get out there. I mean, on the open water, on the ocean, it's some real nature stuff that you have to deal with, and you're in an environment that could change from this totally peaceful, flat seas to the worst day of your life, and you got to navigate that, make sure, because boating can be dangerous, fishing can be dangerous, but
have you ever gone albacore fishing?
No. I mean, I've never brought a tuna onto the boat. We've trolled for tuna. My father's caught a couple. But you got to go out a lot further and stay out a lot longer. And generally, we're just trying to catch striped bass. But he's hooked a couple of them. I've never done it.
They have overnights out of San Diego. I've done where I've caught them.
Oh man!
And they'll have 4 or 5 poles going at the back.
Right.
And then once something hits, then they'll stop it, and then the school will catch up, and everyone chucks it over. And I got a couple 25-pounders. And it was the most fun ever. And I'll tell you, I don't know how something that only weighs 25 pounds can be that strong, because at first it was like, oh, this is nothing, right? But when it finally saw the boat, it turned into a credenza. I
Yeah.
was like, whoa.
Oh man, it's serious fighting. As far as what I've heard, I mean, and just the shape of the damn thing. It's
Well, you know what makes it so difficult is that you can't be herky jerky, because I'm like, so excitable, and I'm like, oh yeah, bug yeah, but you got to be chill, because
Yeah.
their mouth it'll come out, so you
Right.
got to really be careful.
keeping the pressure on the whole time. Yeah, they'll shake that thing. Absolutely. Yeah, any kind of if you're loosening up on the resistance on their face, they could shake it. Tuna don't jump with the hook in their mouth, do they?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't see him. No, I didn't
Yeah.
see anyone jump. But
Yeah,
plus
that's
the
the
people.
other thing fish will try to do is like hit the surface and wriggle around and shake the hook out that way.
But the guys that work on the boat are so good. I mean, they're gaffing these dudes, at
Yep.
the perfect timing. I mean, these guys are unconscious. And then I had 12 and a half. Each fish gave me 12 and a half pounds of fillet.
I mean, you're talking tuna that it goes for a lot per pound. That's
30 bucks a pound at least. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, exactly, up to 50 perhaps. It
Yeah.
depends on where you're going, but that's a good day's work.
But we could do that if you ever wanted to. That's right
sounds like
off
fun.
out of San Diego. It's an overnighter. Like if you do the one that's not overnight, they don't get far enough down into Mexico to make your odds great. It's sort of
Yeah.
mediocre. Like there'll be 25 fishermen and they'll catch like 17. So people are getting screwed. But if you go all the way down on an overnighter, then you'll see where there's like 30 fishermen and 60 fish caught.
Damn. Yeah. Right.
It gets way
Exactly.
better as you get down there.
Yes. Yeah. Time and proximity.
Yeah. And rockfish. And you know what? We caught rockfish like no tomorrow. And that was
Oh, right.
on the Channel Islands, which is where LRH loves to shell those islands.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how he lost his command, by doing furious battle with logs on an abandoned island. And so valiant, so great for the war effort. He's just, maybe testing munitions. I don't know.
I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Well, that was a fun episode. We went long and tell, but what are you going to do? It's all good.
We're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna roll with it, baby.
I love it.
Man.
All
Looking
right. Well,
forward
listen.
to next week then. Absolutely.
Can't wait. We'll have some more big stars then. And
Good deal. I think it'll be from Massachusetts.
oh, wow. How exciting.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, be safe. Have a safe drive, and tell Snappy I said hi, and give her my love. And
Will do.
the dog's coming with you?
No, not this time. The dog.
Oh, okay.
It's just too much. Like, first off, the place that I'm moving out of, doesn't allow dogs, and so, they'd have to be up somewhere else, and it's just there's too much going on.
Yeah.
Just moving stuff around. So yeah, not this time, and that's going to be really tough for Pearl. She hasn't been away for the dogs for that long, so it's gonna be a test. I'm gonna have to be super nice and perhaps distract her with other wonderful things as she's away from her fur children.
Well, it sounds like a lot of work, but I hope you can figure out a way to have some fun with it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Definitely gonna have some fun. Gonna try to get the fishing in there, and get some hikes in there, and but yeah, it's going to be furiously wrapping up a place and trying to get a security deposit back.
Well, you be safe and have a good one, and I appreciate you, and I'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, looking forward. All right. See you
All right.
next week at Thursdays at 2.
Take care, everybody.
Selfless. Bye-bye.